Verse 10 from Song of Myself by Walt Whitman is often referred to as something of a song of acceptance, but I think there is something a little bit different than that going on in this part of the poem. Welcome to Strip Cover Lit, where we squeeze the bigger picture out of literature. I am Adrian Fort, and we are here for another poetry discussion, which will appear, of course, in three separate playlists here on the channel. Number one, the Poetry Discussion playlist. Number two, the Walt Whitman playlist. But number three, a verse by verse read through of Song of Myself by Walt Whitman. This is verse 10, and it reads as such. Alone, far in the wilds and mountains I hunt, wandering amazed at my own lightness and glee, in the late afternoon choosing a safe spot to pass the night, kindling a fire and broiling the fresh-killed game, falling asleep on the gathered leaves with my dog and gun at my side. The Yankee Clipper is under her sails, her sky sails. She cuts the sparkle and scud. My eyes settle the land. I bend at her prow or shout joyously from the deck. The boatmen and the clam diggers arose early and stopped for me. I tucked my trouser ends in my boots and went and had a good time. You should have been with us that day round the chowder kettle. I saw the marriage of a trapper in the open air in the far west. The bride was a red girl. Her father and his friends sat near, cross-legged and dumbly smoking. They had moccasins to their feet and large, thick blankets hanging from their shoulders. On a bank lounged the trapper. He was dressed mostly in skins. His luxuriant beard and curls protected his neck. He held his bride by the hand. She had long eyelashes. Her head was bare, her coarse, straight locks descended upon her voluptuous limbs and reached to her feet. The runaway slave came to my house and stopped outside. I heard his motions crackling the twigs of a woodpile through the swung half door of the kitchen. I saw him limpsy and weak, and went where he sat on a log and led him in and assured him and brought him water and filled a tub for his sweated body and bruised feet, and gave him a room that entered from my own, and gave him some coarse clean clothes, and remember perfectly well his revolving eyes and his awkwardness, and remember putting plasters on the galls of his neck and ankles. He stayed with me a week before he was recuperated and passed north. I had him sit next to me at table. My firelock leaned in the corner. So this is seen as a song of acceptance, but I think there is something else that is going on in this poem. If we go back up to the top, the very first word in the poem is alone. That, I think, is a clue. We are very, very alone at the beginning, so alone we have to build our own fire and sleep on some leaves. We have to kill our own dinner. We owe nothing to anyone but the dog. In this second part of the poem, the Yankee Clipper, the boatmen, the clam diggers, they're stopping by to see us. We have friends, it seems, on the Yankee Clipper. We don't owe anything to one another, but we enjoy one another. We go a little bit further. I saw the marriage. You do owe someone something in marriage. You owe that someone your being. You owe someone your protection. You owe someone your fidelity. There is risk involved in marriage. When you're alone, there is the risk of the individual. When you have friends, there's the not much risk, but you don't owe anything either. You have enjoyment from each other's company. Perhaps you have the risk and reward of commerce. There is a lot of risk in marriage. You were sleeping in the same bed as someone. If they wake up and you're still asleep, you'd better hope they like you. So, there's risk inherent to sharing a bed with someone. Then we have the runaway slave. Do you owe something to this individual? That depends on how the question is asked. Ethically, morally, by societal standards? By societal standards, indeed, you did not. Morally, ethically, as a person, sure. That comes with risk. We know that comes with risk because we end the poem with the runaway slave's company still, and my firelock leaned in the corner. We have that protection in the corner of your eye as you are sharing your space with this individual. Now, do you think our speaker here knows where his gun is because of the runaway slave? Maybe. It's risky to invite someone else into your home. Or do you think the speaker here knows where his gun is because of this? Let me find that I lost it here. Before he was recuperated and passed north. What does this suggest? This suggests that we are not in the north. This suggests that our speaker's actions here would get him killed as well. That is risk inherent to the speaker from the individual whom he is helping. So in my opinion, what we have is not a song of acceptance here, but the song of accepted risk. Starting alone, we are accepting no risk for anyone but the self. Passing into the realm of friends and commerce, there is risk in the daily life, but not necessarily inherently from other people. Moving to the marriage scene. Sounds pretty dangerous to me. Then you have the idea of adopting the risk of someone you do not know, but who you know is being given a subhuman hand. So, when you accept the risk of having a husband or a wife, on some level you are accepting that individual as your peer, right? This is someone that I am accepting into my life because I find them on my level, or I want to be on their level. This idea of the runaway slave is not saying that we are on the same level. It's saying that this individual who belonged to someone else, right? So when you are the loner, belongs to no one. The friends sort of belong to each other. The married individuals certainly belong to one another. And then the level of the slave, the escaped slave, is someone who had belonged to someone else. So I think that there are myriad things going on in this verse, all of them interesting, but I don't know that I would call it a song of acceptance rather than a song of accepted risk. That is all I have for this video. If you like or appreciate what it is that I do here, hitting the like button really does help me out, as it tells YouTube to share this video with other literature lovers. If you find yourself here by chance but not design, literature is the only thing I talk about on this channel, dropping multiple videos every single day, and I hope to have you back for the next one.